On November the 15th last year, McCann and Savage flew from Malaga to Madrid and then back to Dublin. They were allowed to leave by the Spanish authorities, apparently after consultation with London. It seems that both governments believed they would be back. A week later, at the cenotaph in Enniskillen, Mrs. Thatcher laid a wreath in honour of the people who died. On the day of the bombing, she had declared that there should be no hiding place anywhere in the world for the men who did it. Now she must have had on her desk the details of how an IRA unit had been detected in Spain. The question is, how much did the British already know about the terrorist plans? One clear hint came on December the 9th, 3 months before the shootings in Gibraltar, when Home Secretary Douglas Hurd met with the interior ministers of the other EEC countries in Copenhagen. He warned this meeting of what is known as the Trevi Group on Terrorism that the IRA might be preparing to attack British institutions on the continent. In Gibraltar, just the day before the Home Secretary's speech, an unusual event provides another clue. The area where the parade normally takes place was suddenly closed for a facelift, just as it is today. The announcement that guard mounting was suddenly suspended so the guardhouse could be painted was made just the day before in the Gibraltar Chronicle. Was this coincidence? Not according to George Stiles, who has long experience of counter-terrorism.
I would like to say that it was a part of our planning. We stopped the parade, therefore there's no target, therefore no bomb is going to come. It seizes the initiative for a time being from the enemy. Now let's turn the parade on again when we are ready to contain a possible situation that will arise. And in a way, it will confirm to us that we're right in the intelligence we've gathered from them, that they are still intending to blow up that parade on that day, in that place.
Whatever the truth of that, the fact that Gibraltar was the target was certainly confirmed by close cooperation with a special Spanish police unit based at the other end of the Costa del Sol in the town of Malaga. It was from Malaga, I'm told, that a joint Anglo-Spanish team tracked the terrorists when they resumed their operation in February this year. At police headquarters, officers from Spain's crack anti-terrorist squad worked with security officials from Britain.
They will give information to the Spanish police, and it is the Spanish police just to follow people and just to make any action on the Spanish side.
So the British would have had, if you like, a liaison role, but would not have actually been doing the following themselves?
Yes, of course.
On Tuesday, February the 23rd, British soldiers in Gibraltar paraded once again in front of their newly painted guardhouse. Among the tourists was the fourth member of the IRA team, the so-called Mary Parkin, who had been tailed here from Spain. She was seen studying the parade in detail. The following Tuesday, March 1st, she was seen again, and it was then 5 days before the shootings that events began to move very fast. Belfast, Wednesday, March 2nd, and the IRA's Special Headquarters Unit began to move into action, no doubt alerted by Mary Parkin, who then disappeared. That afternoon, the first member of the team slipped out of Belfast to catch a plane in Dublin. Our information is that Sean Savage, the bomb maker, flew from Dublin to Brussels and then on to Barcelona, where he apparently entered Spain without being immediately detected. He flew down to Malaga early on the following morning. But what the IRA didn't know was that inside the Defence Ministry in London, the Joint Operations Centre was already on alert and preparing to defeat the IRA attack on the Rock of Gibraltar. Thursday, March 3rd, and the bomber Sean Savage checked into a hotel in Torremolinos. Like any normal guest, he handed over his passport, but then asked for it back again before the receptionist had remembered to copy out the details. Savage had tricked the system, and police have reprimanded the hotel for their failure to register a terrorist.
Thank you.
But that afternoon on the Irish border, another member of the bomb team ran into trouble. Daniel McCann was apparently stopped and questioned by British soldiers on his way to Dublin. The Ministry of Defence have declined to comment on this reported episode. Friday, March 4th, 2 days before the shooting, Sean Savage hired a red Ford Fiesta, the first of the team's 3 cars. It did more than 1,000 miles, and Spanish police believe that it may have been used to fetch the explosive, which had somehow been smuggled into another part of Spain. That evening, Daniel McCann, the killer from West Belfast, arrived in Torremolinos. It appears that he was under surveillance all the way from Ireland to Spain. He may even have led the Spanish police who were following him to his friend, Sean Savage. Saturday, March 5th, and the Hotel Escandinava was where McCann and Savage were now staying, just 1 day before the shooting. They had checked into this room late on Friday night, and from now on they were under constant surveillance. But the Spanish had completely missed one member of the team. Then, at 12 noon on Saturday, I'm told that an urgent message from London arrived at police headquarters in Malaga. It said there is another terrorist, and her name is Mairéad Farrell. On the basis of this British tip-off, the Spanish police began to hunt for her. Sunday morning, March 6th, a car hire firm in Marbella, just 5 hours before the shootings. Mairéad Farrell walked in and gave a cash deposit to hire a car in the false name of Catherine Smith. A few minutes later, she drove the white Ford Fiesta into an underground car park in the center of Marbella. She drove it down to the lower level, which is deserted on a Sunday morning. Police are working on the theory that the red car containing the explosives was already parked here, and that Mairéad Farrell now transferred them to the white car, which had been hired with a fresh passport in a new name. £140 of explosives were found in the white Ford Fiesta in the car park 2 days after the shootings. I'm told that until then, neither the Spanish nor British police had any idea they were here. On the final Sunday of the operation, it was this vital question of where the explosives were hidden that came to obsess security officials in both Spain and Gibraltar. While Mairéad Farrell and the bomb were apparently out of sight, McCann and Savage had set out from Torremolinos, watched by the police. They met up with Farrell in Marbella, and the IRA team then set out for Gibraltar in 2 separate cars, both under surveillance. Tailing them, plainclothes officers of Spain's elite anti-terrorist squad. The first IRA car was a white Renault 5 driven by Sean Savage. Later, police reported the red Ford with Farrell and McCann. Each car was expertly tailed, with a system the Spanish police demonstrated for us on the same road that the terrorists took that Sunday. Up to 4 police drivers follow each suspect, constantly interchanging in order to avoid suspicion. I'm told by the Spanish security police that a constant flow of information about the terrorist movements was radioed directly to British officials in Gibraltar. A police helicopter made sure that the watchers made no mistake. The tempting target, symbol for the IRA of British imperialism, had become a carefully prepared trap.